The weather changed. It got cold on me, and it's like had to quick bring the plants inside. This looks like it needs a little work. But you're going, maybe what is it? This is a box I use for catching swarms of bees. I'll climb up, and usually bees will be on a branch or something, and you just get the box underneath the swarm, and then shake the branch or cut it off or whatever, and get the bees in there. And then I could use that to carry them over to a hive and then just dump the box into the beehive. And usually they'll stay. Not always. Sometimes they'll just get up and go, and then go get back up in a different tree. It's frustrating. But eventually you'll chase them around and catch them and get them to stay in the box. You know, a beehive that's already completely ready to go. Usually in spring, I'll have hives that are dead, and those are great for using to, rehome another swarm, let's say. And it happens quite frequently for me. Usually the bees around here don't die from disease. Well, they do die from disease, but it's mite-related diseases that don't really stay in the hive. They catch the diseases from mites. They're like ticks for bees, and yeah, bees get viruses too, and then it weakens them, and then they die. It happens. You could recognize when a hive is just empty and there's no bees. That's because they had mites and they just all flew off and died, kind of like one by one, slowly. It's a sad fact. Well, anyway, it's gloomy weather, cold. Bees are all set up, bursting with bees, remember. That means some of the hives that I haven't been able to check on and stuff would be having plenty of time to get up to mischief, let's say. And if you have this kind of condition where it got nice and bees collect up a bunch of stuff and they're all set for this week and they're just going to make babies and they're happy, well, they could begin to feel the pinch a little bit and decide to swarm or start thinking about it anyway. So I'm thinking about it too, just in case. What I'll do is set up bait hives. That's what I would call it. Hives that are dead outs. I'll clean them up, and then there isn't really much to clean them up other than just looking at it. But take the whole beehive and set it up on a tree stand up in a tree, and spray some of this stuff in it. Not much. It's pretty powerful. It's so powerful that you need to keep it in a little one of these, or else it'll be just covered with bees. It needs to be an airtight container to keep it in, because it's so strong a smell. You'll learn to know that smell. Anyway, I need to glue this on a little better right there. It'd probably work in the conditions it's in, but basically that's a swarm box. And you could build one too if you're wanting to start out with bees, and you can get on a list and they'll call you when a swarm is in a tree or somewhere, and you could go try to catch it. It happens. That's kind of how I got my start with bees myself, was catching swarms and doing removals from people's houses. I ended up with lots of bees, and from then I haven't had to buy any, pretty much. I bought a couple queens just because I wanted something new and different. But other than that, I haven't bought any bees since about 2015, maybe 2016. I bought 2 packages of bees when I first started. But from there, I just kind of got swarms and bees from removals. And very quickly, I had over 20 hives. So I've been keeping around 20. They'll balloon up every summer to 40 or maybe more. But the winter casualties bring me back to the around 20 zone every year. So it's not a big deal. The losses are part of beekeeping. There are people that are better at not losing bees. They feed them better and they treat for mites and a lot of stuff that I don't do. I have treated for mites before, but it's kind of hard on them, hard on the bees. The Mite Away quick strips are kind of tough on the bees, and you got to time it just right with the right temperature and the right weather, and it's got to be just right. It's very stressful using the Mite Away quick strips. Oxalic acid takes multiple applications, and you got to be kind of religious about it. It's a lot of work and time, and I don't know, it gets easier to just go treatment free. There's other ways to do it. There's little patches you put in and stuff like that. Apiguard, I think is what it's called. They're little strips you put in the hive, and I guess you leave them in there quite some time, but I don't know. But I just don't do that stuff because I learned to just make more bees and make more bees and make more bees, and that way I haven't ran out. I seem to have some that live every year. I've been down to as little as 10 or 12 hives, I think. This year I only have 14 survivors. But hey, that's better than nothing. From 14 I can build up to 20 pretty easily. If just one hive swarms and I catch the swarm and then split the hive maybe 4 or 5 ways, that could turn into adding 6, or adding 5 anyway. It could, if things are good. And this is looking like it could shape up to be a really good bee season. It's still early April. And so what? We had a little cold spell. That'll happen. Ask fruit producers. They get their trees blooming, and then boom, the cold comes. It's tough business. It's agriculture, it's weather, and you got to be thinking a little ahead all the time. And that's what I'm doing today, because it's just kind of gloomy day. I got out all my swarm stuff and know where my ladder is and everything. And I got one other thing you might want to have for in your swarm kit is a sprayer like that. Wet bees don't fly very well. What you do is you mix up some syrup that's water and sugar, 50-50. And like say 2 cups of water, 2 cups of sugar, or something like that. Probably use a quarter sugar, quarter water, and then that might fill this up. That's maybe excessive, but you get the idea. Half and half. Put it in there. Spray it on the bees, then give them a shake, and most of them will stay in the box at least for a while. You take this box and go dump it in a hive. You kind of want to make sure you got the queen. You could, when they're in here, you could pull the lid and look around at all the bees, and usually the queen bee will be crawling up on top of all the other bees. Not always, but usually. And you could spot her pretty easy, usually. Then you dump them in, or maybe you might catch the queen and put her in the hive, and then dump all the bees in, and then they'll all go in too because the queen's in there. It's not that hard, but you kind of got to know about finding that queen. It's always kind of helpful to know that, and then you can see what condition she's in as well. You could tell by looking if a queen is not mated or mated. An unmated queen, the abdomen looks kind of diamond shaped and pointy. And a mated queen, it looks more longer. And it's still pointy on the end, but not like in the shape of a triangle. It's a big, long, stretched out abdomen once they're mated. You could tell the difference after you've seen quite a few unmated queens. This has gotten pretty long for a video about catching swarms. I'm sorry about that. Beekeepers tend to ramble. Have a great day, everybody. God bless you, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.